Yeah, Michonne's a tough fighter. He's worked with a couple different teams. He's kind of an independent. You know, he seems to be a little bit of a hit or miss guy.
Well, that is the reason why he's probably not undefeated right now, as tough as he is, because he hasn't taken the time to get with a school who's going to train him not to lose.
He's got a great wrestling background. They call him Sleepy because he comes to the ring. He looks like he's the most disinterested guy in the whole building. And then as soon as the bell rings, boom, he turns it on. But
number one rule of fighting: don't lose.
Yeah. And but I would love to see him get with up.
Here's our first.
I'd love to see him get with a good school.
Let's throw the speaker on. Hello, you're on the Ground and Pound show.
Hi, I was just calling to make a comment. I'm just glad that you guys put my son, Donald Harper, on. And I just want to correct you. His record now is 9-2.
9-2, and he's not on the list. Sorry, Mom.
He was on the honorable mention.
He's at 9-2. I'm sorry that he's not on the top 10 list, but I think he just needs to point his direction at anybody on that list. And if you'll call me after he beats him, I'll put him right on the list. He certainly does.
Anybody on your list?
What's that?
After he beats anybody on your list?
Yeah, after he beats anybody, you'll hear the top 10 announced here in just a few minutes. And that's what I always say. The way to get on the top 10 is beat somebody on the top 10.
Okay, not a problem.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. We really appreciate it. And let's correct that again. Donald Harper's record, very special honorable mention, training under T.J. Moeller, is 9-2. Thanks again for calling in.
You gotta love when your mom calls in for you.
What a great
Hey,
mom.
number one promoter is your mom, you know, hopefully, but.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, see,
Thank you, Mrs. Harper.
that's the thing you guys need to do too is keep. We're not as worried about your win-loss record here. It's who you've beaten as much, you know, because you evolve as a fighter. So please keep us informed on your fights as they
I'm
go
also
along.
pretty happy because that shows us at least one person's listening.
And thank you for our one listener. Also,
Moms everywhere.
Another honorable mention.
Moms everywhere.
All right. Hold on, Danny.
Whose mom is this?
No. Welcome to the Ground and Pound show. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, this is nobody's mother. However, this is someone's aunt. I do believe that Don Harper can beat anybody on your list.
All right, then he should do it, and he will be on the list. But I appreciate you calling in. We really do. Evidently, Donnie has an awesome support network.
Where's he fight out of?
An aunt and a mother. Where does he fight? Tell us more about where he fights out of, if you know.
What area?
Oh, we lost her. But I'll get that information because I met T.J. Moeller on the phone today, and I have his information. But he's actually going to be sending me stuff. He puts on a lot of events in his area, and they do some really cool stuff.
Well, we know most of the promoters in the area, so we can help put you together on a card with somebody that you can match with one of these guys, I'm thinking, and take your spot.
Yeah, and you know, I mentioned Donald Harper first for a reason because
He was forgotten for a little
well,
bit.
one of my main advisors is the one who told me about him, and he had him ranked about 5th or 6th on the top 10.
You just ignored him.
No.
You cannot move in the rankings by coming down here and
understand.
beating Andy, though. I just want to let everyone know that.
But his mother can beat you.
Yes,
If you come down and beat Andy, that's not move you up in the
Others
rankings.
in
Hey,
Hey, Scott, you got any room on that card Saturday?
His baby sister's going to come down and
Handicap
kick
match.
your ass.
No, you know, the guy, you know,
Good for you. I
probably,
mean, it's hard.
belongs on the list, but, you know, when you hear the list, you can see, she saw the list, but she doesn't know the guys from Illinois, who they fight. You know, you got to go online and look at some of these guys after I mention their names, and you'll see why they made the list also.
And this will be all on
Recap who
This is a stacked weight class. These are talented guys.
Our honorable mentions are.
Okay, I'm moving on. Thanks, Scott, for keeping me focused here. Next, I'm going to mention a guy who's been on the show, Titus McDowell, 4-4, always a game fighter. The guy loves to fight, you know, and he's good too. Takes on a tough match, has fought for belts, has won belts. What belts does he hold?
He holds Terry Madden's promotional belt, the Cage of Fury belt, and he actually lost this last Saturday in a non-title fight against, I think, someone you're going to mention on that list also, or you just did, Michonne Bell.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I figured that's who you were talking about, Sean Bell, because he does look sleepy.
Sleepy.
Yeah.
He truly does. I mean, I put 2 and 2 together.
Just
that, right?
And wouldn't you like to get him? He's got a good.
Dopey and
Yeah.
He's got a good high school wrestling background. He's got a stepbrother that's a tough fighter. they just have always been independents, and I would love to see him get with a real
Kid
good
was
school.
really, really laid back to the point that you wondered. I mean,
Is he here?
Fedor kind of thing.
Right.
On, and he exploded in the ring and beat the, I'm going to say, the paper champ.
There you go. I'm glad somebody said it.
Yeah, I'm going to call it out.
You know, I'm going to call it out too because I heard that. I'm going to say it.
All right,
Let's
let's
throw out
keep
the name that's going to come up a little later.
Now, Titus, I know you, and I heard it was you didn't want to put your title on the line,
Okay.
and I'm going to call you on it.
Let's move on here. I'll make one more comment. I remember T.J. Muller told me about Donald Harper. He is fighting for a U.S. title this weekend in Indiana, so want to hear about those results. He'll be the U.S. title, he's still not ranked, but that's all right.
Not ranked in Illinois.
Depends on what organization, too, you know.
Next guy I'm going to mention also, this guy comes very highly recommended, but he's only 1-0 right now, but says he could be at the top of the list. Fights under Mike Rogers, that's Rob Sherry. You guys know Rob Sherry?
Tough wrestler. I was there for his first fight, and that kid threw hands that I don't even think he knew he had. But you got to fight in that room. You know, you got to stand up and.
Even step in the cage.
If you're gonna bang with Bobby Russell and Matt Ricehouse and I mean any of the guys or Lance Benoist, I mean it's just
Great names, man. All
Yeah.
on my card.
You better be in it.
yeah, absolutely, and Tyron Woodley. I mean it's full of
Well, if he made the list, somebody
We
important.
haven't even hit the list.
But if somebody
He'll
important is
move up that list quickly. Trust
right,
me.
somebody
So-
important is put his name in the hat.
Ron
So he's
Small's
earned it.
about to call me too, I'm pretty sure. Zach Stamp is another guy who has got an honorable mention. Zach's 3-0, so
He fought on my last show.
yeah, he fights under Doug Sawyer and
Out of Troy, Missouri.
out of Troy, Missouri.
Full Force Fitness.
I mean, I'm telling you, this is such a stacked list. I mean, everybody on here is great. The next one we'll mention is this guy probably belongs way up on the list also. His name's Kyle Carver. He fights under Jeremy Wharton, and he also came highly recommended by one of my top advisors. I'm telling you, they're all fighting.
Yeah, let us know which ones are not here anymore. Okay.
Tasty.
Next, fighting out of the hit squad is Donnie Cavens, and Donnie's fought a couple times on your show, fought for the title.
Actually, Donnie beat Titus McDowell with an armbar on one of my cards, and then he lost to CMMA. No, he lost to
Oh, you're right.
a CMMA fighter for a title fight, a promotional title belt. And actually, I talked to Donnie today and let him know he was I didn't tell him where, told him he was going to make the list somehow, and he told me he just lost the 3-round decision to a real tough jiu-jitsu guy out in Kansas City who he didn't tell me his name, he said he put every move in the world on him after Donnie was beating him with stand-up and he couldn't finish him and Donnie lost the decision, but he's a tough fighter. I mean, he's just one of those tough country boys, you look at him and you know he's tough.
Absolutely. So the next one I'm going to mention, it might be our last honorable mention here. I hope I didn't leave anybody off who I intended to mention. And that's Mike Finnegan. He fights out of Berger MMA under Steve Berger. He's got a record of 3-2, but Steve recommended him for the list. So, all right, now on to the top 10 ranked 135-pound fighters. We'll do a little sound effect for that. So here we go.
Yeah, let the controversy begin.
All right, good enough. Okay, number 10, with a record of 6-2, fighting out of Lake Ozark top team under Rob Howard is Jordan Howard. It happens to be Rob Howard's son, and he is the 10th ranked fighter at 135 pounds.
Favoritism, no.
And his father had nothing to do with that decision.